Welcome my fashion lovers. Today we'll be looking at how to draft a basic block pattern for children. If you want to learn how to sew for children, we're going to make use of this basic block pattern to draft any style you want to draft. Please keep supporting my channel, keep commenting, keep liking, keep sharing my video. Thank you very much. Let's go to the tape. To start this class, we're going to be making use of our pattern paper before transferring it to the fabric. We have our scissors, we have our tape, we have our marker, we have our curve ruler and our ruler. The first thing we're going to do is to mark out the beginning, where we're going to start, the beginning of this pattern paper. We're going to mark out the starting points. Mark out the starting points. Rule your straight line. The length we are working with is the length of 11. Half length we are working with is 11 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That will make it 12. 11 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That will make it 12. So we'll mark 12 here. Mark 12 and rule it out. Before you know the amount of fabric you're going to put on fold, before you know the amount of fabric you're going to put on fold, you're going to check the biggest measurement of the client you're working with. For this child, the measurement, her biggest measurement is 26, which is her waist, although her bust and her waist are the same. So we're going to make use of 26 divided by 4, because it's going to be on fold. Divided by 4, that is 6 1/4. And the allowance you're going to use for the child, you can use 2 inches sewing allowance for the child. And the first thing we're going to do is to measure the shoulder, and the shoulder we are working with is 13 inches divided by 2 will give you 6.5 for the shoulder. And whatever you have here on the shoulder, use it as your armhole length. Use it as your armhole length. I have 6.5 here. So I'll come down here. I will take 1/2 inch for the shoulder slope. From there, I will take my armhole length. It's supposed to be 6.5, but I will make it 7.5. I'll make it 7.5. Let's rule the line. This is the 1/2 inch for the shoulder. And for the neck, we're going to be taking neck width of 4 inches. This is for a 10 years old, and I want the neck to be a little bit like a boat neck. You can take 3, you can take 2.5, but for me I want to take 4. And for the lower part, I'm going with 2.5, because I wouldn't want it to be too exposed. Use your curve and connect. Here you can make use of, for the width, you can make use of 3, you can make use of 2.5, depending on how you want it. But for me, I'm using 4. Connect it to the shoulder slope. And this is going to be our chest line. This is going to be our chest line and our waist. For the chest measurement I'm working with is 26 inches. And when you divide it by 4, you have 6 1/4. You have 6 1/4. So I will place it here. Then I will take 1 inch sewing allowance for her. All right, let me make it 2 inches sewing allowance. Taking 2 inches sewing allowance for the shawl. And the waist is 26 inches, almost the same. 26 inches, and I will take 2 inches, and I'll connect the line. When you're doing your pattern drafting, it's better to have excess than to be short of fabric. You can always cut it. You can always cut it. Like I told you, the child I'm making this dress for is 10 years old, but she looks way older than 10 years old. So I'm going to get the midpoint of this armhole length. I'm going to get the midpoint, and the midpoint is 3.5. And I'll come in by 1/4. Come in by 1/4, so that will connect now. And connect to the chest line. And this is our basic bodice pattern for a child. There's no need putting that for a child because there's no bust. This is the simplest method on how to do it. For a child, this is the simplest method. You don't need to put any dart for a child because a child does not have any bust. So there's no need putting any dart. So let's cut. Remember to put your joining allowance. Remember to put your joining allowance. And with this, we're going to use it to cut the back. What I normally do is just to place this front because it's almost the same. Place the front and the back and cut. Just give 1 inch. Just give a space of 1 inch for the zip allowance. You can take 2 inches, but for me, I don't take more than 1 inch for zip allowance. Take 1 inch and cut. But for the neck, I'll be taking the width of 1 inch. I'll be taking the width of 1 inch for the neck. I'll take 1 inch, and for the width is still the same. The length will come down by 1 inch. The width will always be the same. For the length, I'm taking 1 inch for the neck. Now connect. I'm taking 1 inch for the neck. Make sure you get it right. Always cross-check. Always cross-check your measurements. Make sure you get it right. Don't be in a hurry to cut. Always make sure that your measurements are right. Now we're going to cut, leaving the 1/2 inch, leaving the 1 inch for the zip allowance. When I'm cutting this one, I'll try not to dip my hand. For the shoulder. And this is how to draw a basic bodice pattern for a child. Please like my video, subscribe, share. I'm going to use this to cut on the fabric. Thank you very much.